The current legislative system works to promote lobbying by corporations to pass legislation that allows said corporations to gain massive amounts of wealth, which they use to further lobby. This creates an infinite loop of corruption and privatization of profit. On top of this, the election reforms, term limit laws, and educational requirements in the Senate are all decided by the politicians who are being bribed. This means that the people who decided that bribing them is legal would have to voluntarily give up their own power for the good of society. This is a PSA about an additional legislature that could serve to promote the interest of the general public rather than the upper class and the politicians who are being bribed by them. I propose a consultative branch. The consultative branch would act a lot like Congress, and would be an addition to Congress rather than its replacement, passing laws and holding the power of impeachment. The main difference of power between Congress and the consultative branch would be that Congress would retain the right to the federal budget, while the consultative branch would work more closely with state union budgets. It would be a check on Congress. If Congress refused to pass a law, the consultative could pass a similar law instead. If Congress vetoed the bill, the consultative could attempt to pass the bill via popular vote, essentially a referendum. Climate legislation and socialist policies like universal healthcare could be passed in the consultative, even if Congress refused to cooperate. How would the consultative branch be any better than Congress? By randomly selecting one seat for every 5,666 citizens, we can remove much of the influence of cash. By setting the terms for members at 3 months, we can ensure that members have enough time to effectively contribute to the assembly, but not enough time to make corrupt connections. This system will allow minorities and people living in territories or on reserves much more power, and normal people would have the ability to directly affect legislation. The bill would need to be proposed by 2/3 of both houses of Congress, or by a convention of 2/3 of state legislature. Then it would need to be ratified by 3/4 of state legislatures. This would be a massive feat. The last time an amendment was passed was 33 years ago. The best shot would be to convince the states that hobbling the federal government would be better for their own interests. The problem is, the current ruling class isn't willing to give up its power. This PSA exists to inform people that there are better options, and if we stand together, we might be able to achieve one of those options one day.